People that live in Australia, how much are the fires affecting you?
I live in New Zealand, not Australia, but I still wake up and the sky is orange from the fires in Australia.
Not my town specifically. Although we have had a lot of smoke quality compared to approximately 20 cigarettes. Relatives evacuated. And one of the early deaths to be confirmed was a family friend. I can't tell you how many times I've called my mum to make sure she's still alive. She is a rural firefighter. Believe in climate change. Believe in people. Be respectful. That's all she would want.
I'm in Gippsland, so it's bad here. Everyone knows someone who has been evacuated, lost their home, lost animals, etc. It's a really somber atmosphere made worse by the complete idiots running our government and their response. It feels like the only ones who will help us are our own countrymen and thankfully people from overseas. To everyone on here that donated, thank you so much. You have no idea how much it means, so know there are people out there who want to help.
My hometown burned down last week. It was terrifying seeing the pictures in the news and not knowing if my family home or my mum's grave would still be there. Luckily the fire missed them by about 1 kilometer, but it's still burning and not yet under control. I live in the city now, so I've just been dealing with the hazardous air quality and eerie yellow sky for the past few months. That's nothing compared to the people back home.
I live in a major city and don't have a home, so not at all really. It's just frustrating how incompetent the government has been at dealing with it. Woke up coughing with stinging eyes because smoke is covering my city. It's stressful and depressing. I'm not in a fire zone, but I'm hearing about them, seeing images everywhere, knowing the country is burning and it could very easily burn where I live and I will have to run.
Not due to the fires. But the drought that led to these fires caused the company I previously worked for to shut down.
Food is scarce. They've hiked up the prices a lot. $5 for a loaf of bread.
It's pretty all right in Melbourne. We've had a few smoky days, but nothing like what a lot of the rest of the country is facing. I live in the Adelaide Hills and had to evacuate for about a week just before Christmas due to the fires. Luckily they went away from us, no so lucky for the towns in that direction. Had to evacuate twice more since due to other fires flaring up, so mostly just an inconvenience for me, my family compared to those in the towns hit here or the poor bastards over on Key or in Vic and NSW.
I've noticed my local grocery store is low on bread and their prices for some foods are higher than usual. My sinuses are spectacularly not happy, but we are in no real danger. Still putting work into our bug-out bag, because you ought have one for whatever type of emergency. Currently not speaking to a friend who went sightseeing on Kangaroo Island last week. Bloody idiot.
I live near Kangaroo Island. Last night at 12:30 am I was out of water and was extremely hot. Went to leave my room and as soon as I did I got this huge hit of smoke-filled air. Like, after a fire pit has been out for an hour and you get a ash smell. I just joined the CFS, so I'm keen to do my part. But this is crazy since I predicted it'd be bad this year, but I didn't think this bad. There's smoke in the sky and I don't know where it's from. It's been like that for months, sometimes clearer, sometimes much worse. And this whole thing has been a great example as to why you don't vote for the LNP.
Volunteer firefighters are losing their jobs because they can't work due to fighting fires. Our government aren't compensating them either. They're expecting individual companies to give out paid leave, which isn't happening for most people. Our PM doesn't give two shits about anyone who's dying or fighting. This country is a fucking joke.
Honestly, on half of my state at one point had extreme fire and smoke danger while the other side was extreme thunderstorm warning. I'm so confused but also really disappointed at how much the government is doing for them. I also really have so much respect for those whose houses are burnt or burning or have been evacuated, and those who are volunteering as firefighters.
Where I am, the air pollution is just really bad. We have had some false alarms, but other than that we're okay. The closet fire to me is probably one of the most damaging one.
Been fighting fires on and off for 2 months on farms that I work on. Pretty much prepared for everything to be consumed by the fires, but got lucky, winds changed at last moment, been evacuated 3 times as well.
Still waiting for my school to burn down. In North Queensland. So far no issues other than being pissed off with government like everyone else.
One of my best friends lost her home. My town and the surrounding areas all had to be evacuated. Also, a program I was a part of in Canberra had to be cancelled due to air quality. Literally some days you couldn't see more than 100 meters away, and would get a headache or start coughing the second you stepped outside. Even the gas masks provided weren't considered enough to keep us safe, so we had to return home. Melbourne air quality was shit for most of the week. The fires are quite a distance away, so no immediate danger. Donated some cash to appropriate charities.
It's affecting me mentally more than anything.
TBH, over here a small cyclone just hit me. Also, the fire that's happening at the moment hasn't affected me at all. Because I live far away for the south.
I was okay until some cunt decided to light the bushlands around me on fire. Luckily the local firefighters got it under control, but still, how much of a fucking shitcunt do you have to be to go lighting fires on purpose? I live in Western Australia and we have been pretty good until yesterday. There's been a massive fire which is now contained, but all the roads around my wedding venue for tomorrow are still closed and we have no idea if or when they will be open for tomorrow. We are currently deciding if we pull the pin and start or organize an emergency wedding at my folks or to wait and see. In the big scheme of things we are very lucky to have our lives and homes, but Jesus Christ, we are fucking stressed. As an asthmatic, the past few months have been hard to breathe in.
They're not heavily affecting me since I live in the North Shore suburbia of Sydney, but I had to cut my holiday short since the place I was staying was being evacuated. I know a lot of people being evacuated from their actual homes as well. But the thing that's affecting me the most is the smoke. I have to stay indoors nearly the whole day, and at one point the smoke was so bad it was 4x the hazardous level where I live, so basically the air was poisonous to breathe. Really sucks, sad face.
Went to Melbourne and Sydney in December, it was quite physically hard to breathe. I have friends in Melbourne at the moment who are posting toxicity levels above smoking over 2 packs of cigarettes per day. Brisbane is relatively okay at the moment. Then again, if you're in regional areas your house is probably gone too and you'd be far worse off for air pollution.
I live around a 3 to 3.5 hour drive away from the fires in Victoria and it can be described as this. Imagine the equivalent of the second-hand smoke from a smoker walking less than a meter in front of you everywhere. And that's almost 300 kilometers from the fires themselves. And for anyone in regional NSW or Victoria close to the fires. I can't even imagine. There are ash dust and maybe smoky sky, other than that we are suffering emotionally because of our wildlife koala kangaroo.
I'm in Sydney. Smoke levels are up and down. Even a bit of a bluish sky seems like a clear day to me now. It's been over a month since it felt completely clear. Masks and air purifiers are extremely hard to buy at the moment. My brother is in Batemans Bay, defending the home I grew up in. When the fires first cut them off, there was no contact for a few days, then he got one message out to say he was okay. Nearby Mogo, which I have known all my life, is gone.
In Brisbane we've been pretty lucky. Had some fires earlier on the season and some mildly annoying smoke for a few weeks, but that was about it. Apparently it's too humid to get big bushfires up here. Feel absolutely devastated for the parts of the country affected.
Came down with a massive sickness from inflamed throat and sinuses. Twice. In the period of 3 weeks. Each in a different city, too. Once in Sydney, and the other in Melbourne. Smoke everywhere. My town isn't the closest to the fires, but it still affects us. The wind would bring in smoke, reducing visibility. I'm pretty sure that some people have crashed because of the smoke alone. I'm in Melbourne, down south, and the bushfires are currently about 400 kilometers to my east. The smoke has been blanketing the city for days now, and breathing is getting more and more difficult. Where I live, we are prone to have fires, but it's nowhere near as bad in my area when we had to evacuate for Black Saturday a decade ago. Back then, the grass and scrub near home had all turned brown. Right now, it's mostly green, so is unlikely to burn. We hope. I'm not close to any currently burning fires, but the smoke has been unpleasant. I've been coughing a lot. It's early in the fire season, so I'm worried that later on there will be fires near here. I'm close to a national park and there's a lot here to burn. Checking the news and emergency warnings a lot.